Hello there. Today we'll be discussing toxicology or environmental toxicology. So let's have a look at few definitions of environmental toxicology. It is the field of study in environmental sciences that is concerned with the assessment of toxic substances present in the environment. It is the study of impacts of pollutants or toxicants on the structure, function and components of ecosystems. It evaluates sources, effects and fates of toxins in individual component of ecosystem. Now, what are the aims of environmental toxicology? Its primary interest are the assessment of toxic substances, those are present in the environment. It includes the monitoring of those toxic substances and also the study of effect of these toxins on biotic and abiotic components of ecosystem. It also deals with the ultimate fate of those toxins in the environment. And environmental toxicology, it is the study of effect of chemicals, those are artificial as well as man-made, on environmental health as well as on the health of organism. Now a view about the history of environmental toxicology. So in 1950s, the California legislature recognized the negative impact of the pesticides and other artificial fertilizer on the agricultural field. So it established a small pesticide residue research laboratory at Davis in 1957. Later on in 1962, this research lab was known as or re-established as Agriculture Toxicology Laboratory, and later on, much later on in 1968, this lab is identified as Department of Environmental Toxicology, that is dealing with the teaching, research and other service functions of environmental toxicology. Now, in 1962, a scientist, Rachel Carson, she worked on the impact of DDT and other harmful chemicals on the water bodies as well as on the agricultural field, and then she wrote a book over this issue that was known as Silent Spring. And for this contribution of her in the field of environmental toxicology, she is known as the mother of environmental toxicology in 1962 only. Now, when toxicology got established in India, so it was only in 1965 when a CSIR known institute, that is Indian Institute of Toxicology Research, was established in Lucknow, and this institute is dealing with the environmental toxicity and other toxicity studies and its impact on the human health, ecosystem, environmental monitoring of pollutants in air, water and soil. Now, what are the sources of environmental toxicity? The sources can be point sources or non-point sources, and these toxicants can be originated from the organic pollutants, inorganic pollutants, pesticides or biological agents. Now, what are the example of these toxicants? Lead, mercury, cadmium, chromium, these arsenic, these are the few example of toxicants, and how they can enter the environment or the human body. So, by the inhalation, absorption, ingestion or injection. These are the four ways by which these toxicants can enter our body or our environment. Here one interesting point is that these lead, mercury, cadmium or chromium or any other toxic element will be considered as toxin only and only if when it exceeds the permissible limit of its concentration on air, soil or water. Otherwise it will be just a heavy metal until unless it doesn't exceed its concentration, or it is available in higher concentration in the environment, it won't be considered as the toxicant. So when cadmium, the concentration of cadmium or the chromium was found increased in the water body, it was noted that the growth of the fishes was slower down, and when it is exposed to lower level or the negligible level of cadmium, the growth was normal for fishes. Likewise, heavy metal concentration of chromium was effect of heavy metal concentration of chromium was seen on a dipteran species, that is Chironomus riparius, and that has evolved to become tolerant to cadmium toxicity and the chromium toxicity in aquatic environment. Now, what is metal toxicity? So as I said, it is only the concentration which define these heavy metal or which decide these heavy metals as a metal toxicants when they are present in the higher concentration. So when zinc, arsenic, copper, lead, nickel, chromium or other heavy metal is present in higher concentration in environment, that will be considered as the metal toxicity. and it is a problem of increasing significance for ecological, evolutionary, nutritional, and other environmental reasons also. Here are the example of few heavy metals from where they are originating and how they are hampering the human health. So arsenic is originated from some natural and industrial sources, and it is causing the cancer of bladder, skin, lungs, and liver in the humans. And another one is the lead, that is being originated from the metal plating, fish operations, and affecting the central nervous system. Likewise, mercury is heavy metal which is disturbing the aquatic lives, and cadmium, chromium, and other pesticides are also the example which are harming the plants and animals. For example, cadmium is damaging the bone composition of humans, and chromium is causing chlorosis and necrosis in plants, and pesticide is entering our food chain and food web by the process of biomagnification and bioaccumulation. So these are few examples and the problems or health problems that are being caused by the toxicants, and how one can predict these toxicants in environment. So by the knowledge of physical and chemical characteristic of an environmental toxicant, by the transfer and biomagnifications through food chains, and its effect on different organisms, its mobility through air, water, and soil, and by its knowledge about its degradability and the availability into the soil, water, and air. Here an example is given of how pesticide or any toxicant is entering into the our environment or the food chain. So here an example of DDT is given, although DDT is banned now. So what it did is it got absorbed in the soil, and later on this is get absorbed by the plants. Those plants are eaten by the herbivores, and then it reaches to the terrestrial vertebrates, and then the top consumers or the carnivores. This is how it enters the food chain at terrestrial ecosystem. Likewise, it is entering into the aquatic ecosystem. The DDT or other harmful or fertilizer or the pesticide is absorbed in the water, which is then absorbed by the aquatic plants. Those are macrophytes, and these are eaten by the zooplankton and the small fishes, and those small fishes are eaten by the big fishes and affecting their tissues by getting deposited inside it, and these fishes are eaten by the top consumers, that includes animals and humans. So this is how it's entering the food chain and food web of the environment. And the now the health hazards or the impact of these toxicants. So these toxicants can affect the species diversity and abundance, and it gets accumulated into the fatty tissues, and it gets accumulated into the food chain and food web. Now the type of toxicity, there are two types of toxicity basically. One is acute and the another is chronic. Acute toxicity is caused by the exposure to a large dose of a weak toxin, while the chronic toxicity is the development of adverse effect as the result of long-term exposure to a toxicant or other stressor. So the acute toxicity appears within hours or days of an exposure due to its higher concentration, whereas chronic toxicity takes many months or years to become recognizable due to its slower and lower concentration in the environment. Now lethal dose is a term that is very much being used in the environmental toxicology, and it is an indication of the lethal toxicity of a given substance, and it is of two types, LD01 and LD100. LD01 means the 1% of the animal test population, and LD100 means the lethal dose for 100% of the animal test population. Now comes the very important topic of the subtopic of this main topic, this dose response relationship curve. When we draw a graph of the dose of a substance and the percentage of a population that responds or react to that a particular dose, it results in the dose response curve. Here in this figure you can see the x-axis is showing the dose of a particular drug, and the y-axis is showing the response of that particular dose. Here we can see the point at which the toxicity first appears is known as the threshold dose level, and in this hypothetical example no toxicity response is exhibited at just over 10 mg, as you can see here, and but as the dose approaches 100 mg, it 100% of the individuals exhibit a response. It started showing or giving some response. So I have tried to explain this dose response relationship curve with another example. The same two chemical A and the another chemical B was taken. So when we'll compare these two charts, what we'll see in figure in the graph which is showing both chemical A and chemical B effect. So when compare these two hypothetical example, it can be said that by looking at the shape and slope of these two curves, it takes a much lower dose of chemical B to begin seeing effects when compared to chemical A. As the dose approaches 100 mg for both chemicals, notice what happens. More than 75% of people responded to chemical A, but less than 25% of people responded to chemical B at the same dosage. So these curves are showing the toxicity or the lethal dose of these drugs. Major differences among these toxicants may exist on not only in the slope or potency, but also in the point at which the threshold is reached for these two drugs. So in these two hypothetical examples, chemical A has a higher threshold, which means it takes a larger dose to begin seeing effects when compared to chemical B. So this is about the dose response relationship curve, and when comparing dose response curves among chemicals in this way can help to understand their effects. A curve with a steep slope indicates the chemical has a high potency or toxic strength compared to other chemicals, and the greater the slope, the greater will be the potency. So this was all about the toxicology or the environmental toxicology. These are the few terms and few topics which are very important from environmental toxicology point of view. And whenever we want to know the effect of the concentration of any toxicant in the environment or on the human, so we need to draw a dose response relationship curve so that we can assess its impact on the environment health or the health of any organisms. Thank you so much. Thank you for your kind attention.